Welcome back to another week's episode of Three Simple Men Making Their Way Through the Galaxy. I'm Tom, with me is Ryan and Mike. And this week, we're still in the Clone Wars, Season 1, Episode 19, Storm over Ryloth. What do you guys think of this episode? How are we? And also, Mike, when we think about this, you know what it reminded me of? The game Battlefront 2. Storm.
Yeah, the space battles. Yeah, I think I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
mean,
open it up. So with Ryloth, we had this on a few weeks ago, and we saw. Unfortunately, it was a bad ending for the Republic, where we had Master I'm a gonna die died, and unfortunately, the Separatists have taken control, and now it's up to the Republic to break the blockade. So they've got a three-plan attack going on with Anakin leading the space assault and Obi-Wan and Mace Windu are going to do the ground assault. So overall, I thought this was a pretty powerful episode, and especially for Ahsoka's character development because we see her bounce back from failure. So I thought overall, great episode.
yeah, we get the starting quote. It's a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. And for Ahsoka, this episode is quite a rough road. You're absolutely right about the character development. We really kind of see Ahsoka struggle this episode. I feel like unlike we've seen her struggle in the past. And yeah, it was a good episode for that. But yeah, we're right above Ryloth, and we very quickly learn that Ahsoka and R7 are going to be taking command of Squadron on this assault on the Techno Union's blockade. Well, I guess it's the Techno Union is down on the planet, but this is the um
Trade Federation.
Federation is running the blockade. But yeah, so Ahsoka takes command of Blue Squadron. I jotted down the pilots' names. We got a bunch of new clones. We got Two Axe, Slammer, Kickback, Swoop, and Tucker, all named fighter pilot clones. But yeah, with that, you know, seems like things are going off to a good start. Ahsoka's taking control, her first command, and looks like they're getting the job done. But then things go sideways.
I mean,
Yeah,
just going ahead with the episode, it's pretty much what we're seeing is strategy, tactics of setting up a trap. It's a trap. I mean, especially now we have Anakin involved again. So pretty much you would assume someone on the separatist side would like, let me get a track record of what this man is capable of and try to outmatch his unorthodox tactics, in which we are kind of seeing. But
Yeah,
the only difference was it wasn't Anakin to start off with. That was
exactly.
a big difference.
yeah. I mean, you kind of see with them like going in with the three cruisers, and I mean, you had four, and then on the other side, you had four jumping out of hyperspace at the right time to pick him off. So yeah, unfortunately, it was a trap, and we kind of see Ahsoka, going going head on, kind of employing what Anakin would do in that kind of situation. It's like, oh yeah, we can break through this. We got it. Unfortunately, she not only defied Anakin's orders, but also Admiral Yularen's, and
And
uh,
he asks Anakin, "Did you train her not to follow orders?" Which made me chuckle because we know Anakin is usually not one on following orders, and so that was
Uh,
kind of funny.
well, when he does it and gets a job done, he's like, come on, it's all right. But when someone else does it and they're like, makes him look bad, he's like, oh no.
Well, she didn't get the job done. She
Oh no.
failed.
And I don't know if
no,
you guys saw this after that. Did you not see the vulture droids just kamikaze and into the start Fed trait? Yo, they
the
were just
attack cruiser, yeah.
it was just kamikazes all trying to destroy it.
I
They
mean,
were
they're just
also just like chilling when they said, "Let's deploy them." They were all just like crawling around the outside of the ship and
mhm.
like took off that way, which I feel like might have been the first time we've seen something like that. But it was
Have
kind
an
of
advantage
interesting.
too in a way where it's just like the Republic has to leave the hangar bay. They're just sitting out there like, oh look, they came out a little early. All right. let's go.
Yeah, it was like they were a swarm as opposed to ships. They're more like insects almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with the trap, we see that I think it was they lost the Redeemer, lost the squadron, and yeah, it was pretty bad tactics, and they had to retreat back into neutral space to regroup and figure things out. But yeah, you could just see Ahsoka was very crushed by that, and that was like a teaching moment for Anakin. It's like that's the reality of commands. Like you win some, you lose some. Um, and I think I forget what the quote was, but it's like in times of war, you have to learn to follow orders. Unfortunately, Ahsoka didn't do that, and we see the cost of it. And I think we kind of see these with some of the battles that we've studied, whether it's through Star Wars or history classes, where war has consequences.
And speaking of character development, since you bring that up, it's like we're seeing a different side of a war, not from a leader's perspective. It's like knowing that you have to lead people into tough situations where it's gonna get people killed.
Mhm.
Like you have to accept that. To quote it best, it's a scene from Saving Private Ryan where he's like, if I have to lose 10 men to save 100, well, then that's the cost I have to accept and bear the responsibility for, knowing that it sucks that I lost these lives, but I saved more. And we're seeing that struggle happening at the moment. Where just like you're shaking up, like you don't know. It's like you let them into a bad situation where pretty much you got to shake it up. You got to shake it off. And right now we're seeing the struggle.
Well, and we get this whole like education of Ahsoka or this learning teaching moment for Anakin, and it's kind of funny thinking about it. It's not really it's not Jedi training, right? She's being taught how to be a commander, how to be a soldier. She's learning, good soldiers follow orders. Might be a foreshadowing quote there. I don't think we've heard that quote yet in the series, but it does come up. Um, and that, yeah, she's being taught how to be a soldier versus how to be a Jedi, which is something I know we touched upon a few episodes ago, and something I think we're going to keep seeing is like this really is the fall of the Jedi in a sense because they're just where's the Jedi training here? It's not. It's just military tactics or just not even that really. She ends up coming up with some cool tactics, but she's basically being trained like, hey, you got to follow orders and you got to when you get knocked off the horse, you got to get back on it. But
But
again, more of a soldier thing.
yeah, like you said, it's just from the minute she was force sensitive to now, it's like the training from Jedi to soldier really is unbalanced. It is more the lightsabers is a means of a weapon instead of as an and a force in a way instead of as an ally. It's like you as a Jedi, you're not really supposed to use the force and lightsaber for intimidation or any of that stuff. But now we're in a time of war where it's just like screw the rules, throw everything out, mow them down.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, like in Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu had that point to Palpatine's like we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. And yeah, you just with the way things have changed now, yeah, it's just unfortunately you're foregoing the Jedi traditions, whether it's getting Padawans to Jedi Knights very quickly, now they're being promoted to generals, leading the battle. So yeah, there really is that unbalance and you're missing some of the conventional stuff that you would have done. And unfortunately, the stakes are very high here, and Ahsoka doesn't really have that time to recover, and she's really doubting herself right now. And then, on top of that, Anakin, at one point they were like talking, it's like you can't just smash through the blockade, and of course, Anakin's like, oh yeah, you know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So like, not only to
Hold
make
up.
it,
Wait a minute.
all
I
right,
think I got me's an idea. And then the fact that you quoted Mace Windu for a second, I know I'm getting off topic. It's pretty much him saying that lines like "We're keeping it peace, not soldiers." I just thought of Tim Robinson that meme. You sure about that? You sure about that?
But yeah, unfortunately, we see the stakes are very high here. So not only is Ahsoka doubting herself, and after that conversation, now the plan is like, oh, I'm gonna take exactly what you said. I'm gonna smash the ship, and I'm only gonna put myself in the line. But now you're in charge of the fleet. You're in charge of the soldiers, but now you have this additional responsibility to get me out of it. So there's so much piling up on Ahsoka,
Mm.
and um yeah, and like even like when Anakin was like rallying the troops, like, "Hey, you're listening to Ahsoka now," and she's like, "I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be on the bridge."
Well,
And
part of that I think was just a really good on Anakin's part, like teaching moment or showing and proving to Ahsoka that yeah, hey, you made a mistake, you didn't follow orders, bad things happened, but I still trust in you, I still have faith in you. You got to get back into it, and the best way to do that is you're in charge. It's all on you again. Like, you're either gonna fail again or you're gonna succeed, and there's there's no try, just do. So do it.
Very
yep,
true.
and then we see that when she's on the bridge too, like you have Rex on one side and then a random clone on the other. I don't know what his name is, but he's like doubting her. It's like, oh yeah, General Skywalker is here. Then you see Admiral Yularen coming in, like, no, I trust her too. Will this plan work? And then you start to see Ahsoka's confidence building up. Because yeah, pretty much with Anakin ramming the ship into the thing, it's like, well, we've got 6 other cruisers to worry about. So how are we gonna beat them? So I think again, to your point, I think one of you mentioned this earlier with the enemy trying to study the tactics. They're trying to stay on top of Anakin, yet he has to find a way, or between him and Ahsoka, they find a way to keep the unorthodox going, where they are angling the ship and trying to draw them in and then flank them.
Should this
Yeah,
episode just be titled "The Legend of Skywalker Continues"? Because it's just more of like I got an upper hand on him. Wait, what is he doing? Wait, there's no one on the ship but one person. Come in. Wait. Hold on.
and
Wait.
as the droids repeating the same thing. Oh yeah, power has been diverted from, or power is diverted to the front shields. No one on board, or whatever it was, and ship is
Oh,
heavily damaged. Just like, wait, what?
remembered something too. In the beginning battle scene, did you notice a similar parallel towards Return of the Jedi with a ship going into the bridge, and you just hear the words "too late."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then the
yeah.
other
There's
thing,
that, and then like I forget, it was like intensify the batteries or something, or like raise the deflector shields. Like there was that too. So it did remind me of Return of the Jedi at some points.
they I also noticed when Anakin was kind of chatting with the we never get his name, the separatist commander, general, whatever, from the Trade Federation. They're using that weird kind of plasma screen comm system that they have that we had seen I think in Phantom. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's weird. They're not it's this weird way to communicate, and it's not the
Well,
hologram, and
yeah.
it led to a very funny kind of moment with Anakin's big head on the screen. Kind of remind me actually of Star Trek, right? That tends to be how they'd always, communicate or have the conversations through the big screen. And then oh, I've just been distracting you, and now,
Mhm.
um so that was kind of a
That leader,
funny
he just
funny
realized that
moment. But
you're like, what should we do? You wait here. I'll think of something. It's just like it's like the dad that took off and said he was going to get milk and never came back, and it's just like, where is he? Who's
well,
in
it's a
charge here?
reoccurring theme, right? Grievous, every chance he gets, is in a escape pod
Yeah, he pulled a Grievous on that
flying
one.
away. Yeah, this guy pulled the grip. Maybe, I don't know if he survived. I guess he was making his way to an escape pod, but we'll have
All
to
right, that's my hot
we'll have
take
to
right
stay
there.
tuned to
Everyone
find
who
out.
escapes, you call it pulling a grievous. It's like, did you escape death? I just pulled a grievous. Just saying.
All right. Any deep dives or hot takes?
No,
No, I mean, it just
I don't think.
it, No,
right.
it's just funny that, like, of course, at the end is like, yeah, I'm not gonna ask why Anakin's an escape pod or why things are the way they are, but yeah, I'm ready for round two or phase two with the ground assault. So,
We always need that
um,
fun
I just
Obi-Wan
did
banter.
think of something. I think with the both separatist leaders, the Techno Union dude and the other dude from the Trade Federation, like they have massive egos. They're like the trade Techno Union dude is like, if I can hold this planet, Count Dooku's gonna reward me. Count Dooku's gonna make me part of the whole thing. I'm gonna be sitting at the table with the dudes. And the other dude's just like, I get to defeat General Skywalker.
yeah, and
Funny, I'll just
he'll be like the big talk of the entire army defeating Anakin. Yeah, I did catch
like,
that.
yeah, looks like Christmas ain't coming for you, Belle. You ain't getting your Christmas gift.
Well, Anakin left him the ship as a gift,
Yeah.
so
Very true. Oh, I stand corrected.
Well,
but
hopefully, next week we can find out if the Twi'leks get saved or not.
mhm.
With
Yeah,
that,
pretty excited for the next episode. So we'll see the ground assault and yeah, more to come
For
with this.
you,
So I
Master
think this is a
Amagundi. This is for you, Master Amagundi.
yeah, I'm gonna die.
all right, Mike, take it away.
All right, that's a wrap. Thank you everyone for joining Three Simple Men making their way through the galaxy. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, and come back next week for some more Clone Wars content. May the Force be with you, always.